was a former top official at the state auditor's office, and if what they said is true, it could have a huge bearing on the case. Defense attorney Eric Herschmann told the court that Stephanie Palmertree, who's the former director of the Financial and Compliance Division at the auditor's office, admitted
come from money, I come from class. They love the story, they love the past. Won't let a courtroom spoil my dream, 'cause I got money and I can do anything.
Just when the courtroom seemed to settle into a rhythm, the defense changed the battlefield again this week for the Ted DiBiase Jr. trial, because this time it wasn't about delaying anymore. It was about rescheduling this since it failed for them to attempt that. It was about something much bigger now: credibility. Eric Herschmann had already established himself as the new architect of Ted DiBiase Jr.'s defense, but now we started to see his real strategy in this case. It wasn't not just defending DiBiase at this point, it was challenging the system around the case itself. During this week's court proceedings, Herschmann introduced what he described as an example of an explosive revelation. So he brought up Stephanie Palmertree, a former director inside Mississippi State Auditor's Office. According to Herschmann, Palmertree admitted during a civil lawsuit deposition that she submitted fake or fabricated documents connected to an outside audit involving welfare funds. And if that sounds huge, it's because it is. So let's take a look at the video regarding it. So let's go.
This involves a former top official at the state auditor's office. He said it's true, it could have a huge bearing on the case. Defense attorney Eric Herschmann told the court that Stephanie Palmertree, who's the former director of the Financial and Compliance Division at the auditor's office, admitted in a deposition she used fabricated and false and fake documents to conduct an audit into how New School Summit founder Nancy New spent millions of dollars in welfare funds. Remember, DiBiase received at least $1.7 million from a nonprofit ran by New, according to the federal indictment. Herschmann says an admission of falsifying documents by someone who worked in the auditor's office.
So apparently Herschmann is saying that she was part of the reason that documents were fraudulent, or at least that's what I'm understanding. Let's continue.
Which uncovered the welfare fraud goes to the credibility of the government's investigation, which led to the 13-count indictment against DiBiase on money laundering and wire fraud charges. Prosecutors told the court the audit in question is related to a state civil lawsuit involving Brett Favre and not DiBiase. Assistant U.S.
That's important, and we'll get to it.
Attorney Adrian Rosen also told the court that Palmertree's attorneys have reached out to Herschmann to let him know that he's mischaracterizing Palmertree's what she said in that deposition. Prosecutors told the court that Palmertree's testimony is not relevant, so they don't plan to call her to the witness stand, but
that's crazy.
You can bet that the defense is itching to do just that. At this point, it's unclear if the judge will allow the jury to hear what Palmertree would have to say. For now, we're live at the...
So suddenly the defense wasn't just arguing the innocence, they were questioning the reliability of the investigation itself. But here's the twist. The jury never had any of this. The argument unfolded outside their presence in front of the judge. Prosecutors immediately pushed back. Assistant U.S. Attorney, Adrian Rosen, argued that the defense was connecting the dots that didn't belong together. She said the audit in question was tied to a separate civil lawsuit including Brett Favre, not Ted DiBiase Jr.'s criminal trial. And according to Palmertree's own attorney, Herschmann may mischaracterizing what she actually said. So now we have a legal battle happening inside a legal battle at this point. One side saying this could shake the foundation of the case, the other saying it has nothing to do with this trial. And the biggest question hanging in the air, will the judge allow Palmertree to testify? While that fight played out behind the scenes, John Davis, our boy John Davis, remained on the stand, and Herschmann used this moment to widen the narrative even more. He reminded the courtroom that DiBiase wasn't the only big name involved in welfare-funded projects. The state had also reached out to celebrities like Morgan Freeman, Brett Favre, Jennifer Garner, Paul Lacoste. The defense wanted jurors to see a different picture, not a secret scheme, but a public initiative. One aimed at promoting programs designed to help Mississippi families. Herschmann's argument was subtle but powerful. If the state sought celebrity involvement openly, then how could DiBiase have known anything was wrong? This trial's now running on two completely different stories. The defense says federal funds were distributed openly. Contracts were legitimate, everyone believing they were helping people. Now, the prosecutors are now saying, or continue saying, millions were routed through nonprofits, and money intended for the poor bought luxury purchases instead. For some, a vehicle, others, a boat, a home, or all three. Same facts, just two realities, and the jury will eventually have to decide which version feels real. Herschmann pushed Davis further by asking how millions flowed through nonprofits run by Nancy New and Christy Webb. Both women have already pleaded guilty. In related cases, Davis described a working relationship that slowly unraveled. He testified that Webbs secretly recorded conversations with him. He said he later discovered she believed her organization was losing fundings and might have been trying to get him removed. Behind the legal arguments, you can feel the cracks. Allies turning into witnesses, partners becoming liabilities, and everyone trying to explain their role before the jury decides their fate. The trial is still building. Major figures could still be called to the stand. State Auditor Shad White, former Governor Phil Bryant, and now the defense has introduced a dangerous new idea. What if parts of the investigation itself can't be trusted? If that argument reaches the jury, the entire tone of this trial could shift, to the defense at least. The courtroom is no longer just debating money, it's debating the credibility throughout. A defense challenging the system, prosecutors protecting the integrity of the case, and a jury still waiting to hear what comes next. Because now, this trial isn't just about what happened, it's about who the jury believes built the truth in the first place. Now, I hope we find out more about this, but we will just have to see in the next week because we only have one more story to cover and this won't be one of it. So let me know in the comments what you think about this. Do you think the auditors messed up? Are they truly the credible source, or is the defense right on this one? Let me know what you hypothesize or what you think. Until the next time, I'll see you on the next video.